Happy 2023. I thought I'd start the year off and make a fairly raw video. So this is unedited. A couple of things I want to talk about, and I want to talk about this channel and where I hope to take it. So at this point I've reached 3.6 thousand subs. The first 1,000 took 5 years. The second 1,000 took, I think, about 15 months, and in the last 365 days I've had just past 1,500 subs. So that's where we're at. Historically, and actually since inception, I've made car videos on this channel. I've experimented with a bunch of stuff, doing a lot of shorts this year. They've worked really well. They've driven a lot of subs. So those of you who have come to this channel via a short, thank you for that. But to be honest, I want to pivot this channel away from cars significantly. So I'm still going to be doing cars, but I'm going to put that on a Rocking Cars channel, which is kind of where the whole car exercise started for me back in 2010. So we're going to have Rocking Cars. Link is in the description below. And that's where the car reviews and the car shorts and all that kind of stuff is going to go. But my goal this year is to go down a rabbit hole. And I've been specifically intrigued and interested over the last couple of years with this whole kind of solopreneur, one-man band. Like, there's so many different names, creatorpreneur, so many different names for it. But the concept is simple. One person that doesn't employ anybody, that makes $1 million a year, right? So there are more and more of these examples kind of popping up, making money on the internet, and I think it's getting easier to do. There are more and more tools available that make it simple and straightforward and relatively easy for anybody to make good money. Maybe not $1 million a year, but relatively good money, a good living on the internet. Now, I know people like Gary Vee have been bleating on about this since, when did he write Crush It? 2008, 2009, back then. But I really want to go on a mission here, and it's more than like just doing it for myself. Like, I'd love to do it for myself. For those of you who know me better, I run an ISP, Rocking Connect, staff, customers, not terribly big margins, and connectivity has become a commodity. That's a race to the bottom. So we need to become like a significantly sized company to make significant money. So we'll keep that going. But for myself, it'll be interesting to see whether I can make a living, pay the rent, like some food, off making money on the internet. So I'm going to do this in a couple of different ways. I think I've got a website, kind of started off this year using Ghost. I started a newsletter, didn't kind of quite follow through with it. I chopped and changed strategies a couple of times throughout the year. But I think I'm going to revive that, and I'm going to document this process on my website. We'll document it here on YouTube, but these videos will largely just be me explaining what I'm doing, what I'm working on, taking you guys along for the journey. Some nice cars in Kalk Bay. So that's the idea behind the YouTube channel. I'm going to take this, I'm going to explain as much as I can here, but I'll document it on my website. So head over to shaunjooste.co.za, make sure you're on the mailing list, and that's kind of where I'll put all the nitty gritty details. Like, you can't always cover all the details and all the stuff in a YouTube video, but this year, 2023, this channel is going to focus on specifically going down the road of figuring out how to make money. And as I was saying, like, in addition to just the benefit for me, I think if I can document this process, if I can figure it out, and I can explain it to people, there are so many people who can benefit from this. Like, I think the world's fundamentally changed. COVID COVID was a massive facilitator of that change, but I think it was a change that was about to happen anyway. And so as a result, like, a lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of people have suddenly been forced to begin freelancing. It's just like the whole economy, the whole world has changed. And I think finding the tools and being able to show people the tools and go, you know, if you want to make a living $50,000, $100,000 a year on the internet, like, here's how you do it. These are the concepts. Like, I've been running businesses for the better part of 20 years now. I've got a lot of the sort of basic stuff under my belt. What I've not successfully done is actually run a proper online only business. As much as I sell internet, getting people online, the irony is I've never actually made money online. So I think for me, it's just like an educational process, and I hope to kind of document that process and take everybody along for the ride and go, this is how I did it, this is how it worked. 90% of what I do is probably not going to work out, and I'm sure there's a ton of people in the comments like who are going to call me out and stuff, and that's cool, that's part of the process. But in addition to showing you what works, it means I get to show you what like doesn't work either. So I think for me, the next year, I really want to dig into this and kind of just figure out, like, how do you get into this? Like, everything from, you know, building landing pages, selling products, running ads, faceless YouTube videos. I've already kind of started with some of that stuff. How do you build an audience? How do you sell stuff to that audience? That would be a great project. That would be a lot of fun to do. Like, if you could spend 4 or 5 hours a day working and make $100,000 a year, I think most of us, depending on where you live in the world, most of us would be quite happy with that. That's a pretty decent income. So that's where we're at. The cars, as I said, over up on the other channel, I have a shorts channel where I'm making silly shorts. I'll link that in the description below. But this year, let's focus on how do we make money online. What are like the things you need to do? And I do think, I'm going to start by saying this now, I do think right now in the current climate, the way the internet's kind of gone and worked, YouTube is probably the place you want to start if you want to make any money online. And I'm not specifically referring to just like make a YouTube video and get money from AdSense, but like your YouTube channel can drive an audience. You can convert your audience in selling products, selling services, affiliates, stuff like that. And I think YouTube is just so easy right now to make an impression, to kind of get people's attention and to begin building an audience. And I know in 2023, they're rolling out, ramping up, whatever you want to call it, they're ramping up this whole shorts game. So I think we're going to see a significant rise in YouTube traffic. Apps are already getting better, more and more people digging into shorts. Converting that stuff into an audience, into paying customers, YouTube's the place to begin with all of that. So that's likely where that is where I am going to begin, but we're going to build out from there and figure it out from there. So if you're still watching, thank you. It'll be really awesome if you tag along. As I said, head over to my website, seanjoost.co.za, and jump on the mailing list, and let's do this. And I'll share everything, share the resources I find, the tools I use, and see if I can do it. And if I can do it, I can show you how to do it and maybe turn your life around.